Maybe my sister's controlling it.
All right, well, let's give this one
I like the red cord.
a billionth go.
Yeah!
All right, I think we're finally getting this to work. How are you doing, Mr. Brendan Saunders?
I put my arms behind my back. I'm Brendan, not Chris, not Saunders, but me. How you doing, Stevie?
I'm great. Make sure if you guys can't hear me, let me know. But I'm hoping it works because, again, that's. But we're interrupted again. Oh, okay. I don't know what's going on, Brendan. We're having so many technical issues.
Because my arms are up and down.
Again, we've tried multiple different platforms here. We tried Twitter. We tried Facebook. We've tried
My socks?
YouTube, and Facebook's the one that's finally working. So again, if you guys can hear me, if you hear anything, just let me know.
Yeah.
Again, so we're just trying this mic. All right, so yeah, what are we here to talk about today?
We're here to talk about our new sport we made that has a rubber basketball in a pool with a lacrosse stick. I'm going to call it soccer. Yes, that's what we're here to talk about.
We're here to talk about Alex Ball because hello, Adam Nightingale.
Yes.
He wants to talk about this.
CJ Garcia.
And also, David wants to ask if Brendan had a good breakfast at Moe's. Just so you know, David, I went to Moe's about an hour earlier. We were just having this conversation. So if you hear me, and which I'm hoping no one has said they can hear us, but we got a lot of comments. Anyways.
Yes. Also, if anybody wants to come down to Moe's in Oakville, there's a Moe's challenge that's 3 sausages, 3 bacon, 3 pancakes, 3 toast, 3 eggs, 3 hash browns, and it's 35 buckaroonies if I can't eat it, but it's free if I can. So if anybody wants to come down and see that, I can do it whenever. So yes, yes, yes! Alex Ball.
Alex Ball, all right. Let me just say one thing. Can you
give me
hear us? Because no one will answer. All right.
Yes.
We're here to talk about the NHL draft.
Okay.
And I want to know, Brendan,
Yes.
there's been a question all year
Oh
long.
my god, we're pulling out of papers everywhere.
Okay, and yes, it sounds like you can hear us. That is good. Perfect. Hello, Zachary Hunter. Hello, Adam Nightingale, of course. Hello, David. You suck. Nico Hershey versus Nolan Patrick. That's been a topic that's been mentioned all year long. I have my personal opinion, and I'll tell you this list here has my personal opinion, but you guys can't see it or tell which draft this is. What do you think?
Well, I think it's close. I think Patrick is going to go first because he's older. He's also bigger. However, I do like Hischier. Although, both of them, and I'm saying this right now, Hischier for sure has to go back to junior. Nolan Patrick definitely.
Yes. Okay. This could be the first time in a long time that the first overall pick likely will not go to the NHL. It's because
Thank God.
I don't think there's not a guy in the top 10 that is ready for the NHL, and honestly, it could be Miro Heiskanen or even Christian Vesalainen who could go. So like to maybe like a team like Arizona or Buffalo. Or,
We thought with Chychrun last year.
Before
I mean, I didn't think he would make the NHL, and he did.
Yeah,
which, I mean, it was weird.
That was a bit of a shock, but yeah, again, there's a couple guys that I think could,
Yeah.
but they're not the first overall pick guys.
No, for sure. And then with the first overall pick, I mean, Nolan Patrick definitely, because he's only played 33 games this season.
Yep.
Hischier, I say, has to go back to junior, just how good that Halifax team can be. If he does come back, I mean, it's going to be absolutely unbelievable just because they have Forte, they would have him, they'd have Grew, they have McIsaac, they have DuPont, they have, it's Mick, it's like he's from Boston, it's Moynihan, they have Moynihan, they have Clark Bishop's brother Joel Bishop, they have Graval, Mississauga Senators, we actually saw him playing the OHL Cup.
Yep.
He had cool Senators pads. But they have a whole host of really, really good players. And right now, I think Atherby backers I thought would be pretty good in the QMJHL. But now, since they've traded a lot of bigger players, it's completely open. So I think if he comes back to Halifax, I think they have a chance to be a dominant team.
And I think basically everything I saw from Hischier shows, in my mind, makes him the first overall pick. Nolan Patrick didn't play a good portion of the year. And again, going second overall is not a bad thing. Doesn't even mean you're the worst or you're the second best prospect. It just means it may make more sense for him to go a couple picks in, because like Hershey just had an incredible year. He was strong all year long. How many points did he get?
86 and 57 plus 20.
He just knows that off the bat, as you guys probably all know. But yeah, essentially, again, I think Hershey's a guy that could probably go. I think he goes first overall. That's my personal opinion.
I think Patrick goes first overall, but I do think Hischier is probably the player who I think can evolve more. The reason I say Nolan Patrick is just because he's 6'3", and for guys like you and me who don't exactly look at his size,
I know you and I definitely are not size, and Milky Buns Curtis definitely doesn't care for size.
But a lot of people are still big on size. He's 6'3", he outweighs Hischier about maybe 30 pounds. Also, let's not forget he did have 102 points last season. He was a very high-plus guy. He got 46 and 33 this season, which isn't bad. Unfortunately, he didn't play the whole season because he would have been a guy I would have been very, very excited to see go against the scoring leaders like Adam Brooks and Sam Steele, just because he would have had every opportunity to get ice time.
It would have been so much fun to see what Nolan Patrick could have really done.
Yes.
Throw him on Team Canada, the juniors, and see what he could have possibly done. But again, I think you go with Fichier. He had incredible World Juniors. Incredible, specifically when he played the 2 games in Toronto, the pre-tournament game and then the game at the, which ended up being the final game of the tournament. And, so I'm going to go with, I think Hisha goes first to New Jersey, and then Philadelphia, I think we'll get Nolan Patrick. After that, though, I know we both like Gabe Vilardi in his OHL draft.
Yes.
And now he could end up being the best prospect from that draft.
I mean...
Oh, by the way, there's a very good chance we'll be QMJHL, WHL, and OHL in the first 2 picks.
I think the CHL will be happy about that. And I mean, if the QMJHL goes for a second straight year, I know we were talking to a couple of guys from QMJHL, they were really happy. Pierre-Luc Dubois went first overall, or not first overall, but first pick in the CHL, and he's in the QMJHL.
Yep.
And if that happens again, that's outstanding. But I mean, Gabe Vilardi's definitely good. For Gabe Vilardi, the one thing, he also has to go to junior like we were talking about. He has a really, really good chance these next 2 years because Windsor has now lost a lot of their forwards because the Memorial Cup has a lot of chance to develop. Like, he only had 61 points in 49 games, which I mean is a big jump from his 39 points he had the year before, and he has a lot of potential to be a really good player. But I'm not sure Gabe Vilardi fits that third spot. I mean, there's a lot of good players. I mean, Dallas definitely needs a defenseman.
In which Cale Makar, I love Cale Makar, but man, how could this be one of the highest picks ever for a junior A player?
Yeah, I mean, who was the last guy? Kyle Turris, third overall was. And I mean, he was an out west junior A player too. So I mean, we're trying to think. If anyone knows the exact things, I'm pretty sure it was Kyle Turris.
Someone with the awesome internet access want to search up the last junior A hockey player to go
in the top 5.
In top 5, it'd be very interesting. A couple quick questions we got here from PD Beats. Has been on our TV show before.
Yes.
Can Nick Hague crack the top 10 or top 20? I got my answer. I want to hear your answer first.
Yes. I think he's going to Tampa. I say Tampa just because their defense, they have a lot of offense.
In 14th place.
Yeah, I think, Tampa, they traded Drouin specifically, I think, because they have a lot of defensive, or forward prospects, especially high-end forward prospects. If you look at the guys like, Braden Point played this year, but Radish played outstanding, and then they have Matthew Joseph as well. I think they're going for a defenseman. I know they're, I guess, best defenseman. I like Strawman, but I mean, Hedman is quote-unquote their best defenseman. I mean, he's an okay defenseman. Is definitely a big guy, and Nick Hague fits that role. He's needs help on his skating, I think. I mean, it's not his worst quality, and we've seen him a couple times, maybe 10 or 12 times we've seen him since joining the Steelheads. And he's a decent skater. He uses his size well, uses his stick well. Sometimes I think when he goes in the corners, he could be more aggressive. I think that's one thing he has to try to work out. But I mean, this season in Mississauga, with a lot of the guys coming back, he has all opportunities to be a really, really good team and play a lot of minutes and a lot of games. I know the World Junior team will probably be asking him to at least come to the camp. So I mean, I think Nick Hague, he had a good season. I mean, 46 in 65 plus 22. So I think a team like Tampa probably. I don't want Detroit to pick him because I hope Cal Foot drops to them.
I think you say Tampa, I say 2 teams that I think could go. Yeah, okay. I know you want Cal Foot there. And by the way, it does say here, according to Jimmy Neugebauer, who's living in Regina. We miss you, buddy. He did say he believes it is Turris. So
yeah,
we could get that one.
Oh, thank you, Kyle Turris.
Lots of new guys that are coming here to watch the show, by the way. Hello, Brad Birmingham. Hello, Noella. Hello, Alex Diadisi. Okay, another couple guys.
Yes.
So we'll get back to Hague.
Okay.
I think, Nick Hague. I think he could go with either Toronto, which I believe picks 17th. Okay. I also think the Rangers could get him because they're in a place where they definitely need more defense.
I was surprised they got rid of, when people, before the buyouts happened, where they were saying, they need to get rid of Stahl, they need to get rid of Girardi, I thought, well, they have 1, possibly 2, depending on how Sean Day develops, good defensive prospects. The other one being Sergei Zabrovsky from Regina. Regina, Jamie, there we go!
Speaking of Jamie, he just says he thinks it could also have been Rod Brendamore.
The Rod Brendamore?
Never heard of him.
Who? No, actually, he was my grandma's boyfriend. Yes. That's a story for another time.
What?
But, no, it's just there you go, Rob Brendamore. Your son's American. Yes. something. But okay. No, I mean the Rangers definitely need some help prospect-wise because they prospect. If you ever look at the Rangers prospect pool, it's awful. It's really bad. And some of the prospects actually who are doing well, guys like Tyroning, guys like Brad Morrison on Prince George and Vancouver. Well, I guess they're both on Vancouver now. They were late picks by the Rangers, and actually guys who decently did well and actually improved since their draft season. The Rangers didn't even sign them.
Yep.
So I mean, it's like either the Rangers draft badly, either the Rangers trade.
Hey, let's not forget that they didn't draft Ryan McDonough.
Yeah.
That was a Habs guy.
That is a Montreal guy. They did the great Scott Gomez.
Man,
in that
the
trade.
Habs should have probably traded David Fisher instead.
Yes.
That trade would have worked out really well.
Yes.
By the way, to the one person who says this is a purple shirt, this is blue, but you can confirm. But.
And the one person who thinks this is green, this is actually crimson. There you go. But yes, if you look at the Rangers prospect pool, it's absolutely god-awful. I totally blame Glenn Sather on that. I have no problem saying he's an idiot, but he does trade a lot, or he did, I mean he's not with them now, but he did trade a lot of players or a lot of prospects for players. He also did a crappy job of drafting, which they don't seem to be doing that great of a job now. So yeah, if you look at and not signing players.
Wait, if you want to talk about Habs and their draft picks, in the first round draft, in the last 20 years, I believe, only 2 of them are still on the team right now, and a good majority else did nothing with the team. But only one guy never actually one guy never actually skated for the team at all, which was Fisher, as I mentioned. He was not great. They now traded away their top defensive prospect, and I know you were kind of like 50-50 on them, and I almost feel like you saw this coming and think it was a good trade.
I thought it was great.
I think it was a great trade too, because Montreal now, knowing that they likely will not have Radulov, it's like cause the odds are Radulov won't be there. It's going to be Radulov or Galchenyuk that are gone, both wingers, even though Galchenyuk finished the year as a centerman. If you now getting Drouin, that makes that team a much bigger contender.
Yeah, it does. I mean, Drouin's a fantastic player. I mean, we said it back in 2013. I mean, I said Drouin was going to be the best player.
I thought Drouin was an incredible player, and I remember when hearing get drafted, it's like, he's going to be so good with Tampa. And unfortunately, it didn't work out. It would have been really cool to see him, I guess, like with St. Louis, like if he stuck around and Stamkos, that would have been so much fun. Even if the caveat, like Drouin, if Drouin came around the time of Stamkos, like a little closer, man, that'd be so
instead
much
of
fun.
Brett Connolly.
Yeah, Brett Connolly. Oh yeah.
No, I think Drouin's going to be fantastic. I think it's funny because I know a lot of people were saying, "Are you scared to play in Montreal?" And then that kind of bring me back to Danny Briere. How he said, "Oh yeah, I don't want to play here because I'm scared." But I know comparisons are kind of iffy, but I thought I would kind of compare someone's game. I think he hit spot on with Daniel Briere kind of playing style when he was younger, just with Buffalo when he was one of the leading scorers in the league with like 95 points. That a couple of years where Buffalo was a good team and a contender.
But he's working with a new ECHL team.
Danny Briere. Yeah, no, I think Drouin fits a Daniel Briere mold pretty well. Yep. And I mean, if he turns out anything like Daniel Briere, he was really good in Philadelphia, really good in Buffalo for a couple of years.
Good in the playoffs in Montreal.
Yeah, and his last year with Colorado, he was decent. But I think Drouin is I think he can fit in Montreal really, really well. I think. No offense to Nathan McKinnon. Back in the 2013 draft, but I think Drouin is a really, really good player.
A couple guys I want to talk about. A guy from Minnesota, Casey Middlestat.
Yes.
So he's a guy that...
The high school player / USHL great.
Yeah, Green Bay. He wasn't really getting talked a lot by the time of the World Juniors, and he kind of fought his way to a likely top 5 pick.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, he did okay. Like, his high school numbers are really, really good. I think he got like 64 points in 25 games, which is almost a 3-point a game, which in any league is really, really good. And then the USHL, I mean, he had 30 points in 24 games, which isn't bad by any standards. You're playing the USHL, you are playing some pretty good competition, and then he's going to Minnesota next year. But for the US guys, I think it's really, really hard. Same with the European guys. Unless you play in the CHL, I think it's hard to gauge.
Yep.
Like who you're playing on in and on.
Yeah, like because UCHL is like 50-50 sometimes.
It is, yeah. You can be playing the US National Development Team, or you could be playing the Green Bay Gamblers. If anybody knows Josh Kosak, Green Bay Gamblers.
Yep,
there you go.
Josh Kozak, former Oakville Blade.
Yes,
Oakville Ranger too.
Yes. Yeah, former Brampton 45, Oakville Ranger, Oakville Blade. Also USHL prep with Dickerson, who plays in the Mississauga Steelheads now.
Yes.
So, I mean, he's a well-traveled young man.
All right, a couple other guys we'd like to definitely talk about. Nick Suzuki. He's a guy that we followed a lot. And, he went out and joined Owen South. He was on the London Junior
Nights. We actually saw him back in the OHL Cup. We saw him, Radcliffe, and another guy, if you guys don't...
Well, I remember watching him play against Morelos.
Yes, against Ottawa, Junior 67s.
Yeah. I like how you remember the game matchups, too.
Yes.
From 2015.
Jacob Kent was also on that team. So we actually, if you ever do go to the OHL Cup, you do run into games like the London Junior Knights and the Ottawa 67s where you guys have guys like Suzuki, Ratcliffe, Paquette, Morales, and it's really, really fun to see. And if you don't look, he played on the Junior Knights. His name is Max Vigoranoff. He plays on the Junior B Nationals. I tried to recruit him for a certain team I'm scouting for, but he's going to Western. Damn, Max Vigoranoff. But he's also a really good player. No, Nick Suzuki is the biggest steal in draft. My favorite player is an unbelievable talent. Owen Saunders is full, and if I take up my steals list, alluding to maybe later in the show, it has about 6 or 7 Owen Sound attacks just because everybody on that team improved so much from last season. I know we actually know a couple of them. Kevin Hancock, that being the only one.
Yep.
But no, Nick Suzuki is my favorite player in the draft. 96, 65, plus 51.
Remember when we wanted an interview of Kevin Hancock? We really should have got that interview with Victor Mattei.
Yeah. It was like,
now the top Habs prospect defensively.
yes. Well, I mean, Simon Borks is okay as well. But no, Nick Suzuki's the biggest steal in the draft. He's Jeff Skinner. He is Robbie Fabry. He's the next big thing that's going to be coming out of the OHL. Just to how much he improved from 39 points to 96 points, and because of that, I think is a big reason his brother went first overall in the OHL draft. I think Barry's hoping he becomes something like him, just because he is so good. He is the biggest steal in the draft. Just definitely he's an amazing player. Whoever gets him, I'm hoping Detroit can trade actually down to Tampa's pick to get another second-round pick, but if Nick Suzuki's available, I would maybe rethink that.
Did you say Vela was on London? Because you're wrong.
Amel Vela? No, he's on...
Owen Sound.
Owen Sound.
Oh, yeah, because I just saw Jamie and I may have missed, but...
no, that's Max Vigoranoff I was talking about, who played on London. Junior B and then AAA. But no, actually, I saw Amel Vela yesterday. 2 days ago at the Brampton Showcase. He was playing with... he was playing with Jesse Gabriel and... Lucas, I think his name's Lucas Chiando from Barrie, and Curtis Douglas, and actually he was on about 7 teams in Melvella, but I saw him on the, he had his own Sound Attack mask, which was actually a really, really cool mask. If you ever see it, it's like a bear with, Owen Sound has the potential to have really, really cool goalie masks just because of their bear. But no, back to the thing, Nick Suzuki, best prospect, I think, in the draft. I think
definitely one of the best, yeah.
Yeah, he's really, really, really good, and 2 more years in Owen Sound, and a chance to be a really, really good team both years. I think if Detroit has the option to pick him, they do need a defenseman, and I would like them to trade down so they can have 2 second-round picks. But if he's available, I would definitely take them into consideration. But with, like we saw Robbie Fabry, he was supposed to be a top 10 pick as well, and he dropped to 21 because he was around the same size and same build as Nick Suzuki. I think Robbie Fabry, Jeff Skinner fits this guy's mold perfectly.
Yeah, perfect. Jeff Skinner, I think, is only getting better now.
Yeah, no,
I think
great.
Jeff Skinner, get him out of Carolina.
My favorite player.
If you get Jeff Skinner out of Carolina, I think he becomes a much better player than people think he shows what he can do. Yeah. He's playing in Carolina where he's not really doing a whole lot because there's not much to do. And see, this thing about Carolina is, where is their first pick? It's 12. So, I think I get a guy like Owen Tippett.
Didn't they get 12 last year, too?
Yeah.
Oh,
speaking of that, Owen Tippett.
Yeah, so Owen Tippett, a very, very offensive guy.
Yeah, he was Mississauga's best player this year.
He was definitely, in a league now where assisting is a big thing. I know everybody wants to be a playmaker, wants to be a passer. He's definitely a goal scorer. I think 41 goals this season, out of a 74 point, 75 and 60 and plus.
If anyone wants to confirm that, he is doing that without actually looking at the numbers.
75 and 60, I want to say plus 26? Or plus 28. Oh, yeah, I want to say plus 26, because McLeod was plus 28 with 73 and 57. But Owen Tipp's definitely an offensive guy. He's actually another guy on Owen Sound I'll talk about later. But no, if you're looking for 75 or 74 to 60. Owen Tipp is definitely an offensive threat. Defensive-wise, it's almost none.
Yep.
But he's a winger. So, I mean, if you pair him with a good center, like a Mark Savard kind of center, he would do fantastic. He'd be a really, really good. I know we made the comparison earlier about Ovechkin, but he plays almost to the T as Ovechkin. He sets up really, really well in the offensive zone. Defensively, you get what you get with Owen Tippett, but I mean he's definitely a goal scorer. So if you pair him with a really, really good assist guy, the Leafs, if they were able to trade up, I would think about Owen Tippett just because they have. You think of Timashov, you think of Baracco, you think of Marner, you think of Nylander. You think of Brooks. Even Brooks is another guy. They have a whole echelon of passers, and they really do need a goal scorer. So, I mean, Owen Tippett is definitely the goal scorer of the draft.
So there's 3 more guys specifically that are potential first-rounders I want to talk about.
Okay.
And I want to talk about a guy that I know Adam Nightingale has talked about.
Yes! Alex Ball!
Close.
CJ Garcia?
Take a guess which player he's thinking of.
Alex Ball, Garcia, Ultimate, Megatron, Optimus Prime, Lincoln Park.
Close. Maybe a guy who wears suits a lot and never played when we seem to watch.
Oh, the man from Glad, yes. He wore a white suit, he was in Corner Gas, he came in one episode, was the best cameo of the whole series, and after that, I might have exploded white garbage cans.
Robert Thomas.
Hey, the Robert Thomas, 66, plus 41.
So the kind of the inside joke there was it seemed like we saw him standing around as a healthy scratch more than actually playing.
And we saw him everywhere. We saw him games, we saw him at the Play-On Ball Hockey Tournament twice.
Yeah?
Where both times he actually wasn't actually playing, he was just walking by us, and we said, hey, Rob Thomas, you played for the York Simcoe Express.
We saw him, I think, twice with the Steelheads kind of sitting on the sidelines?
Yes, he was walking around, and I didn't know what to say, so I said, hey, you're not playing today?
I said, hey, you gonna play in the third period? Oh, yeah, just so...
Yes, I am. I'm just up here for some popcorn, and then we're going to head down for the third period.
Yeah.
So I didn't know what to say, like, hey, Rob Thomas, you played for the York Simcoe Express, 45 points in 34 games.
Thank you.
Yes, but Alex Ball.
I feel bad for Adam. I know that he wanted to see Alexis on Fire, but so they had to cancel the shows due to illness. He's a guy who could probably go top 30, and I think more like 29th, 30th to maybe like Nashville or Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I'm curious of how much of an offensive explosion or he'll have, or if he's really like a third line kind of like.
But he's a great player. He's a
centerman.
Yeah, plus 41, 66, and 66, which is really, really good, considering London had such a deep lineup, especially near the end of the season when they made all those trades for Mitchell Stevens, and then they had the Finnish guy who was a Carolina pick. They had the overages too with Pikanich, and they had Militic, and they had a lot of good older players. But he found, and the improvement rate is unbelievable from where he was last year to being a point a game this year. And I'm excited to see where he goes because I mean London is definitely losing a lot of those older guys because of trades. Now they are getting good younger guys, and I'm sure knowing London they'll probably get even more guys.
Well, they traded away Ian Blacker.
Yes, that's true. Ian Blacker, actually, he might be a guest on a show. Ding, 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 cameo.
By the way, we are doing a 5-hour live podcast once again, third year in a row now. It will be in this backyard.
Yes, and we're going to have guests like Ian Blacker, Phil Sweeney.
We have to book those guests soon.
Yes, we do. Phil will be here. He doesn't know it's in the backyard, but...
Who?
Phil, the guy from Davenport who also is a golf coach, but he's just going to fill us in on that. Ian, who is an awesome guest to have.
You should probably get your cell phone charged up.
That's true. My flip phone, actually, an old lady was chirping me about that. She's like, oh, you don't see flip phones anymore. Time to take my escalator away.
Well, even old ladies don't use old phones.
I know. They use like these super high-tech laser guns.
All right, couple other guys.
Rob Thomas is good.
I got Milky Buns. Unfortunately, Curtis, if you are watching,
the buns of milk.
We basically did this kind of a last-minute setup because I was actually at a racetrack today.
But how good is this for a last-minute blue, purple, green, black, silver trees?
And we couldn't bring any guests on as it is. Tyler Yamamoto.
Yes, the guy that
guy he talked about like 3 years ago.
No, he's been impressive with the Spokane Chiefs, pretty much from the start, from when he was a rookie to the second season to now. I mean, if you ever watch the CHL prospect game, he says kind of cringy stuff, which makes me cringe when I watch it. But, what did he say that? Oh!
That's a weird response.
No, he's a good player, 99 points, 65 games. He was plus, I want to say 15, on a team that was actually a very, very minus team. He was, and you don't hear many people coming at Spokane. I mean, Tyler Johnson, I think he's an absolute clone of Tyler Johnson.
Yep.
I mean,
very, very good guy to be clone off.
Yeah, no, I mean, especially recently. I mean, size-wise, speed-wise, skill-wise. His mom taught him how to skate, actually.
Yep.
Tyler Johnson's mom taught him how to skate. That's a true fact. But no, he had a great season. I mean, going into next year, Spokane is going to, be an average team, but I think he can be one of the best players in the league, definitely, if he's not traded.
He'll have a much bigger role, too.
No, I think he'll be absolutely everything for Spokane.
Full leader, for sure. He just needs to keep his... Because remember at the
yes, he has attitude problems.
He does have attitude issues, which, again, we do see that out of young guys.
Yes, especially when you have
guys.
Success like Yamamoto did. I think he does. He is cocky, very, very cocky. But I mean, if he's good, then there you go. You get what you get. But he does have attitude problems. Penalty trouble is a big thing with him. He doesn't like to get pushed around.
Yep.
So if you are going against him, if you're a defensive pair, you know what's going to tip him over the edge. If you go after him, he's not afraid to hack you in the neck and get a penalty and get kicked out of the game. So I mean that's definitely the downside of Yamamoto. The plus side is he's very, very skilled, very, very offensive, and very, very confident. I think in his abilities. So you take what you get with him. I think he's probably listed around 5'9". So I mean he's not anywhere out of the league's height radar. I mean, lots of good players. Derek Roy, Cam Hillis,
We made this Cam Ward thing in this backyard, right?
Yes. Cam Ward, W-A-R-D.
Yeah.
Red Deer Rebels. But yeah, no, Yamamoto, Milky Buns, if you're watching, he's good offensive skill. Tyler Johnson clone has attitude problems. There you go.
All right. Two more players I want to talk about. One, Maxime Comtois, a guy that when we saw him at was it the under-18s a couple years ago?
Yeah, we saw him at the under-18s.
And he was just fantastic.
Under-17s. His rookie year was absolutely amazing.
He stole the show, and unfortunately,
did not translate.
It hasn't really gone on to playing in the Quebec League.
Yeah, it was. His first season was unbelievable. 60 points in 62 games, and when you see numbers like that, you think, "Oh my God, holy Angelo Esposito!"
Angelo Esposito.
Yes, he has 99 points in his rookie season.
Actually, I swear we've talked about this many times.
Yeah, if you see those numbers as a rookie, you're probably like, "Oh my God, he's the next soccer player." Comtois had an amazing season. This year he got 51 and 64, so it was a bit of a sophomore slump. The thing with Victoriaville, though, is they had a lot of guys from last year who came out of nowhere to play really, really well. I know their top scorer had 89 and 68, and he was an overager. Vincent Lalonde, who's actually a guy on my steals list.
Yep.
He's a 97, had an unbelievable. He's a defenseman, but still, he had an unbelievable. Just to show you the amount of Victoriaville Tigers who had unbelievable seasons from last year. Ivan Karenchikov, he had 63 and 68, and he was an import, so he wasn't with them last year. But they had a lot of players step up, and they kind of took away, I think, more ice time, and took away more power play time, and took away more situations for Comtois. Lazan is another guy who played really, really well with them this season. I'm excited to see where Comtois goes, because a lot of those guys have moved on, or are looking to move on to either pro, CIS, or maybe coming back. So he knows a couple of them. But I think skill-wise, I think he could be the next Angelo Esposito, not in the fact that he's not going to make it, but the fact that he has a lot of skill.
Esposito really should have spent more time focusing on trying to play for the Italian national team.
That's true.
Honestly.
But I think he definitely has a lot of skill, as much skill as anybody in the draft. I think it's just a translation of can he put it to good test.
Yep.
Skill-wise, I don't think you're going to get much of a good guy, but it's actually a good test to see that his flaw is inconsistency, I think.
Yep.
Probably. There's a lot of guys with good skill. I know we talked about Yamamoto, we talked about Patrick, and he shared about their plus and minus. The only guy who doesn't have a bad thing is Nick Suzuki. Ding! But no, Comtois, I think the good thing, a lot of skill, as much skill as anybody. Bad thing, inconsistency.
All right, so if you have any players you want us to talk about or any other questions, send them our way.
Yes! This is an orange hat. I did find this on the street.
Quickly, Matt Strome.
Yes, he's actually on my steals list too. Yeah, no, he had another guy who had a lot of improvement from 39 points last year to 62 this year on a Hamilton team that is losing guys like Greg Madloff, Michael Camarosa, Nick Pitti.
I like how you called Luff's name correct for once.
Loof?
Yeah.
All of them played in the OHA. I know for guys who are going to hey, wait, John Camarosa played for the Marlies. He played for the Waxers before that.
Oh, really?
So take that, fun facts. But they do have an okay team coming back. So, for Matt Strome, I think he'll be a good guy in a good situation. Skating-wise, now, I'm not a big fan of people saying, he's not a good skater, so F him. That's, I guess, his one flaw. But, I think he put up really, really good numbers this year. Sagen is another guy who's coming back next year, so they have definitely a chance to be an okay team.
Yep.
I don't think they're going to be a dominant team, but I think Hamilton definitely has a chance to be a good team.
Probably the best things we've seen them, kind of.
Yes.
And last guy I kind of want to mention as a potential first-round draft pick, it'd be hilarious if the Leafs end up picking him. Mason Shaw. Or sorry, no, that's the wrong guy. No.
He's good.
Morgan Frost.
Yes, the great Morgan Frost on the Sioux Greyhounds. Another guy who had and we're seeing guys having amazing improvements from the rookie season. This one, Sault Ste. Marie was a team now.
I can't believe you haven't mentioned why I said that yet.
Oh yes, rock and roll.
His dad is Andy Frost.
Yes.
Q107 host and former Leafs PA guy.
Yes, before he took the job as the famous Frosty. He's actually playing Frosty the Snowman now.
And when he's not doing that, he's actually he's a type of ice cream at Wendy's.
Yes. But his son is good. He had a lot of improvement as a Barrie Colts AAA. We actually saw him play in the OHL Cup with another guy, Carson McCulley, who's one of my steals. He's really good, Sudbury. Morgan Frost I think definitely fits into a good team because his development from last year to this year is really, really good, and I think Sault Ste. Marie's only getting better. Going to next season, I think they're going to have one of the most competitive teams. Just if you look at, I know Sanetian, Spears, White, Miller, guys like that are moving on, but when you look at guys like Morgan Frost, you look at guys like Connor Timmins, you look at guys like Kopaka, you look at guys possibly I mean, it's not for sure that he's going to come back with the Swedish defenseman who was a Minnesota draft pick, 7th round in 2015. You look at Noah Carroll, another drafted guy. Barrett Hayden had a really good season rookie. You look at their team, and they have a really, really good team going forward. Yep. And I think Morgan Frost is going to be right in the center of it. He had a really, really good 62 points this year in 67 games. And last year, I think he only had like 12 points, which is an unbelievable 50 point improvement. But no, yeah, Morgan Frost is definitely a player, I think. I don't know. Yep. I don't think he'll go in the first round, but I think he definitely has the ability to be a top 10 pick in the second round.
Well, I know we have some junior hockey players currently watching this thing, and if that's the case, if anyone knows Morgan Frost and happens to want to tell us if he's good for assuming he doesn't play hockey, we'll see.
Yes.
Anyways, that's it for that. I want you to take out your piece of paper.
Okay. Oh, yes, actually, there are junior players watching. On July 2nd at 60 Mile Creek in Oakville, Ontario, Davenport University is having a camp that's not costing any money. Just bring a transcript from your either high school or college or university, and it's absolutely...
I talked to the manager of the arena. They had no knowledge of this.
Yes, we just booked it like yesterday.
Okay, that's probably why.
But yes, but if you want to come out, it's 9:30 to 3:30, and you get a good skate, a game, and possibly a lunch out of it. So, I mean... if you want to show off, just do that. Okay.
Let's talk.
Shaboom bam.
Let's talk about.
This is my steals list.
All right. Let's take a look at.
Sorry, I spelled some of the names wrong.
It's still the cleanest writing you'll ever see.
It is actually on.
Without naming off every single player, who are some of the guys you really kind of want to highlight there?
Well, a player that I said I was talking about, Jonah Gadjevic. He is a goal scorer that you're not going to have to pay a first-round pick for, like Owen Tippett.
Do you be like, okay, how would you like your fries? Salty, okay, that'll be one first-round draft pick.
Oh, thank you, first-round draft pick. Or Brian Burke would
be Detroit Red Wings, you're really good at this.
Yes, we are. Brian Burke would be like, Mr. Burke, we only want a third-round pick for these salty fries. Can I give you 4 first-round picks? And could you throw in a Phil Kessel toy for me? Sure, Mr. Burke, go. But yes, Jonah Gadjevic is a really, really good player. Another guy who improved a lot from last season. We actually saw him play in the OHL Cup. OHL Cup plug in Whitby. Another guy who actually had the exact same stats as Tippett, 74 in 60, and was a plus 35. Another guy on the Owen Sound attack. I know we talked about Hancock. We talked about Suzuki, who was just out of... You wouldn't have expected from a player like this, but a guy who's another goal scorer in an era where everybody seems to be a passer. He's a goal scorer, so I mean, if you're looking at 3rd, 4th round, possibly late 2nd round pick, I think Gadjevic is definitely your guy. Okay, another guy on my list. Where's the name?
Wow, okay, let's just go up things. Got a lot of questions, apparently, that I completely missed on here.
Okay.
So, there are a lot of points. So, Leafs need D. No, yes, we agree with that.
Yes,
will Kovalchuk be traded, signed to the draft? No, I still think he sticks in the KHL for one more season. He wants to play in the Olympics. Lincoln Park has to go back to the roots. Yes, Daryl, I 100% agree. Their new album was terrible.
I learned Forgotten. That's a good song.
Let's see. Adam Nightingale, you are invited to the Free Agent Frenzy thing, yes.
Yes.
And Mario Ferrero, do you have any comments about Mario Ferrero?
From Atherton Backers CTN.
Oh, and by the way, Jamie, if you're still here for sure, we are definitely going to be talking about the OJHL prospects. We're just going to give a couple sleepers. Then we're doing OJHL since we know that one.
Yes, Mario Ferrero from the Atherton Backers CTN. He played in the Atherton Backers CTN.
Because we got like 15 minutes left.
Okay, yeah, I mean, he played pretty good for the Atherton Backers CTN. Okay, so for the OHL Seals, one of the guys I talked about, Connor Timmins, absolute best defenseman of the draft. Plus 53 at 61 points in 67 games, which he was actually plus on last year's team, on a team that was a minus. And for me, he does everything. He's a defensive defenseman. He's an offensive defenseman. He's a hybrid. He is about as good as you're going to get. He's 6'1", so he's not a short guy by any means. We saw him play OHL Cup plug for the South Tier Admirals. Best defenseman in the draft. If you're looking for a guy who is a TJ Brody, Mark Giordano kind of guy, I think Connor Timmins is definitely your guy. Okay, let's scroll down my list because there's Oakville Zach Gallant. I want to talk about a guy from Oakville Zach Gallant.
Yeah, Zach Gallant's a guy that at one point almost looked like a potential top 10 pick in the NHL draft, and it's kind of fallen off the grid, but he's still a very good sleeper option.
No,
put it this way: if again, like I've said before in this podcast in past years, if you are good enough to be projected as a top 10 player a year before your draft, and you do fall down, you are pretty much a sleeper because that means you at one point were better than everybody else, and you still have the potential to kind of catch up. Obviously, that's not how that always works. That's just one of my opinions. But
yes, but no, Gallant. I guess I'll go 3 for each league. But sorry, everybody else, pick up the cat. I think you're really good. but I'll go with Zach Gallant.
Okay.
So, actually, we did mention Paquette. He's a really good defenseman, Eric Branson comparison. There we go. But no, Zach Gallant had a really, really good season. Another guy, I know it's getting old, but improved so much from last season. I think he got maybe 5 points last season, and he had 47 this season in 60 games. So it was a +4, and was one of the reasons I know Matt Timms did a really, really good job this season. Matt Spencer had a really, really good season. Even Adam Timlick, Tyler Rollo fit into the depth, but really, really good players. But Zach Gallant, his improvement, and also he's a gritty guy too. So I mean, depending if he goes second, third round, I think they're getting a really, really good gritty player who, now that a lot of Peterborough forwards will be moving on next year. I mean, they're going to be a good team next year. Some of them will come back, and him included. But the season after, I think he has a chance to get 2 years of really, really good ice time on a competitive team like Peterborough and be everything for Peterborough. Yep. I mean, he has good stats physically. He has good stats point-wise. And he had good stats plus-minus wise too. So I mean, Zach Gallant, this is a dollar. He's from Oakville, so I'm really hoping Detroit picks him up in maybe the third round with one of their 4 third-round picks. Lincoln Park Forgotten. Dun, dun, dun. Yes,
That's such a good song.
it is for Autumn. I know, it is a good song.
Do you do the harmonic song too?
I do, yeah, with 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, it is. It is a good song. And then, we're going to listen to that song after this podcast is over. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the QMJHL. The QMJHL, although it does have an Nico Hischier, it was actually a list that I wanted to make really, really good and find players that maybe you didn't know about. So one of them, and now I have to mention this guy because no one seems to ever talk about it. He's on the Charlottetown Islanders. His name is Sammy Vestaranen.
Maybe that's why, because you
Yes,
don't remember his name.
That's true. He's a Finn. On Charlottetown, he was a guy that I'd never heard anybody talking about, but the guy was, a defenseman. He was actually a defenseman. And he was plus 25. He had 19 points this year, and he's a guy that Charlottetown was losing about every single person except the old lady in the crowd.
She's my favorite.
Yes, I know, mine too. They traded for a lot of guys who are leaving the team now, and for him, I think if he comes back to Charlottetown, which I hope he does, is going to be right front and center of the defense. So, I mean, going forward, I think he's a guy, and if you take him as a 7th round pick, I think you are really getting a really good player. And again, a plus 25 guy. Okay, moving on to QMJHL. Oh, God, I wanted to mention this. Yes, okay, Nicholas Gay. Nicholas Gay is actually a guy I bike with, nephew. But he went from being an 8-point player in Chicoutimi to this year he was one of the best players on Drummondville, and Drummondville was a god-awful team. They traded about every player they could. But he was a highlight, 22 points in 35 games. Or 23 points in 35 games. It doesn't sound like much, but when you look at Drummondville and how bad they were, he was a bright spot for them. And going forward, I think he's going to be a really, really good player. Actually, his brother, Plug, is a really, really good player. Might go first overall in the QMJHL draft next year. Patrick. Yes, Patrick Gay.
Hello to Joe Washcroft, by the way, who just joined.
Yes, and Joe, if you have any players who want to come to a Davenport camp on July 2nd at 9:30 to 3:30, they only need a high school transcript, college transcript, university transcript. It doesn't cost any money.
Joe, I hope we could we're both going to be at the TEP showcase. If you're there and our charges are, we'll say hi. But back to your son.
Yes, okay, and then my final one, actually it's a double, is Mitchell Balmas and Sean Boudreau, who both play on Gatineau. Both came from Charlottetown to Gatineau. They're guys that I never got to mention in the show on my CHL Roundup because I forgot.
Yes, by the way, the CHL Roundup was a part of our TV show on Rogers TV.
Yes, it was. Oh, great times.
Rest in peace, Rogers TV.
Yes. But both did really, really well on Gatineau. They actually improved from a good Charlottetown team, but they got ice time. Mitchell Balmas especially, 51.67 games, was a plus 17. And from where he was to Charlottetown, being a depth third liner to possibly fourth liner, to going to Gatineau and getting ice time and being really, really... And Sean Boudreau, too, is a 200-pound, 6'4" guy who got most of his points, except for, I think, 12 of them on Gatineau, 33 and 58. It was really good. He's a really good player, and going forward, Gatineau has a lot of ice time to fill. I think they can be a good team in 2 years' time, and I think Balmas and Boudreau will definitely be the reasons why. Back to the OHL really quickly. I just wanted to mention Joseph Gaffa. He's a short player who played on the Toronto Titans in the OHL Cup 2015. I wanted to mention how good he was, and also Sean Dursey on the Owen Attack. I never got to mention him before, and Carson McCulley. Sorry, I mentioned those three. All three of them are top steel prospects that I have as well. Okay.
All right. A couple other guys that I want to talk about.
Yes.
We got... We'll talk about the OJHL.
Okay.
Because that's a league that we both know very well.
Yes.
One guy that I think, out of all the OJHL prospects, the one guy for sure that will get drafted is Nick Campoli. And it seems like, at least from the sounds of it, the team does think so too. And I could see him definitely going like 5th round. Put it this way, if you're an OJHL player and you get drafted, you're always going to be a sleeper, and I think it's worth it. Even if you're just playing a camp. Because if you're good enough to be ranked, that is, that's That is tough.
You have scouts coming out to your games, with their junior A games.
Yeah. So there's guys like Bryce Misley and Matt Kellinger, but I think Nick Campoli just made the Rangers such a good team, and a team just that was really worth keeping an eye on all the times. And again, that's incredible prospect. I think he's very fast, great shot, and it sucks that he won't be on the team next year. But I know that you seem to like him too.
No. I mean, he plays with the Bite. I know him and Jackson Bales were going at it in the playoffs, which I always.
I believe they're friends too.
Yeah, I mean, well, actually, we saw it last year with I think it was Bales and Kohler.
Yeah, Bales and Kohler, which then they spend like a good portion of the summer together.
Yeah. So I mean, it's always fun to see hockey and competitive. You see friends going after each other. It's even better when they're not friends.
Well,
and they go after each other.
Well, I like when they are friends though, because that shows that like you still care a lot about the game.
Yeah.
You care about being the best, and that's important.
Yeah, I know, and I mean, competitiveness is really awesome to see in hockey players. I know scouts were probably watching that, but no, I liked him in the playoffs. I think he was, I think, what was it? He went after Bryce Misley once, when Bryce Misley hacked him in the back, and he was like, hey, I thought you were hurt, but he wasn't. Bryce Misley, another really good player from the OJHL. But no, yeah, Campoli is a really, really competitive player. Saw that in the playoffs, and he chips in offensively really, really well. I think in a couple of years' time, I know NCAA is probably a good option for him. And then maybe a couple of years in the AHL, I think he could definitely be some sort of NHL player. Yep. Just how competitive he is, and his development from minor midget to now has been really, really, really good.
Yep. And then there's Misley, who I think is the guy that first time I watched him play, I'm like, yeah, this guy. I think he's going somewhere. He's a guy that I kind of wish he'd almost stay in the OJHL one more year, even though he is, I think, probably too good for it. A guy like Misley to be there is, I would love to see him as the number one undisputed guy on the team. You had Bales and Foss, who were graduating and both played unreal seasons. Misley was there and got a lot of awards and everything, and played in a lot of big games. But I kind of would like to see his Misley be the star, and that it'll be kind of he deserves to go out and compete at a much higher level in the
in Vermont.
In Vermont.
The USHL.
Yeah, well, he will be going to Vermont from the sounds of it.
Yeah.
So, which I know a couple people from Vermont that. Have actually listened today so far and said that's good. Yeah, I think a guy like Misley is going to be a fantastic, underrated scorer. He creates plays. He's incredible hands. He's not going to be the guy bringing in goals, but he'll be the guy setting up goals, and that's something you need as a third, fourth line centerman for sure. And then Matt Kellenberger, another guy. It seems like Oakville's been having really good prospects the last few years. And, I got to watch them a lot, and I get to see him a few times. Kellenberger is a guy that he had some slow parts, and he's definitely a project guy. But I think, like compared to let's say Patrick Kudla a year before that, who was I think more ready. But I think Kellenberger is just really sound in his own zone. He's not going to make a lot of mistakes, and he won't bring the offense, but he'll be the shutdown guy you need to put him in the ice in the last 5 minutes of the game when you're got a 1-goal lead in the playoffs. That's the guy you put on the ice.
Yeah, no, I mean, both of them, yeah. I mean, for Misley his rookie season, especially when we saw him join a very old team, a very team that was in their third, fourth year of junior and automatically chip in. I'd compare him to a guy like Jake Evans, a Montreal draft pick. Who
former buzzer.
Yeah, former St. Mike's buzzer, former Mississauga Rebels with Robbie Fabry and Kyle Jenkins and Steven DeRoche and all those guys. At least you should sign Steven DeRoche. He's really good. But no, Misley, I compare him very, very much. If he goes in the 7th round, I think it'll be a total steal. Just because Evans had similar stats both his first season and his final season. And he only played 2, just like Misley will probably end up very, very much if he goes in the 7th round. He's definitely a player that, especially going to a team like Vermont, who's not like a powerhouse like Boston University, Boston College, you're not going to
he'll still get really good chances, even as a freshman.
For sure, he'll get a lot of opportunity, and I mean he played good with Oakville this year. Through NCAA, it's always interesting to see how they develop because they'll be playing guys who it's not like junior where you're playing guys up to 21. You're literally playing guys who could be up to 27 years old who played junior up to 21 or who took a year off or something and now are playing. So I mean the age group is good. And it's kind of in his own hands. An NHL team doesn't control where he goes. He can kind of play as many years as he wants in the university. For Kellenberger, I like a good defenseman who's not totally out. I know Patrick Kudla I wasn't the biggest fan of. I'm not the biggest fan of offensive defensemen. To put it in perspective, he drafted by the Coyotes last year, and he was a forward. And in just his first, after a season and a half of playing defense, he gets drafted by the Coyotes. Yeah, I know from Guelph Junior B to.
But they have options of putting him forward back.
Yeah,
too, like if they need.
I mean, he's.
And then now that Shane Doan is no longer a Coyote.
Breaking news! No, but I mean, Kudla probably could be a Keith type defense. I know he's going to Arizona State, which gives him a lot of opportunity to play.
And Arizona will be like the Coyotes will be like, hey, look, it's like down the street from us.
But no, for Matt Kellenberger, I mean, I liked him. I liked him and Bailey Newton. If you haven't seen him play,
Bailey Newton's going to be a very underrated guy.
Yeah.
I think he'll end up getting a scholarship somewhere and just surprise people.
Yeah, no, I think if you're looking, any NCAA, hey Bailey, do you want to come out to a July 2nd skate with that university? You're really welcome to. No, but I liked him playing in the playoffs. A couple of those games in Burlington got intense, and he didn't shy away from being physical and being intense and being competitive as well. I know North York was a really, really big series with Oakville. I know they beat him in 5 games, but every game was pretty close, competitive-wise.
Yep.
I mean, Oakville had the edge just because they were an older, better team. But I mean, Matt Kellenberger, I thought he has some issues with thinking the game faster, but again, that comes with age. He's only first-year junior.
Rookie defenseman getting put in a key role for the team. You know, there were points where maybe he could have done a play better a second time.
Dunkirk, that is a movie that's coming out.
Okay, but a couple times that I thought he could have done a play better, but the issue was, it's just, you know, again, he's a rookie playing in junior A. It's tough because he wasn't thrust in the third line role. He was a top pairing defenseman.
Yes, and we saw, and I mean, he played with older defensemen, guys like Sal Felice, guys like Daniel Jellick, and guys who can really teach him how to be older and give him some good advice going forward. Yes, Bailey Newton, ding ding.
All right, yes. One last player before I ask if you want to jump in the pool.
Okay.
Okay. Well, no. Do you have any other players you'd like to mention?
Oh yes. Actually, I
one last player.
Okay. Okay. I'm just trying to think because I want him to be the best player that I can mention. Okay.
You'll name a guy who'll get 0 points ever.
Okay. Cody Class, James Hamlin, Dawson Davison, Griffin Outhouse, Josh Brook, John Smart, Ryan Hughes, James Mall, Jared Anderson Dolan, Lane Zablocki, Nick Henry, Tyler Steenenberg, Alex Hipponiemi, RTM Manulin, Ty Coulter, Evan Fiala, Ty Lewis, Max Martin, Curtis Miskey, Brett Davis, Jacob Paquette, Connor Timms, Dom Camiso, Jack Sadika, Linus Newman, Brandon Sajan,
a couple other things. Apparently this has not been updating very well. Phil Laganoff, very good chance to go to the NHL, according to Jamie Newbar. I did draft him in a game. Ryan Bell, hey guys, big fan here. What do you think of the chances of Carey Price going to Vancouver? Probably about as good of a chance of you winning play-on, and so never. And for Newbar again, he says that we could see Matt Kellenberger drafted and then go back to the OJHL.
Well, Zach Hyman did that.
Zach Hyman did that, and he's doing quite well in his NHL career right now. So there you go, Ryan. You get a question. Okay, one last guy actually mentioned without mentioning the rest of your list.
Okay, well, since I already mentioned him, and I really, really do want to mention him, Cody Glass, absolutely unbelievable player. I compared him to Ryan Johansson. This guy blows Ryan Johansson right out of the water. 94 points in 69 games, plus 31. A huge and absolutely unbelievable. He is the biggest improvement of the season from his first season to his second season. Did everything for the Portland Winterhawks. And now with a guy like, his dad I don't like. He played for Minnesota. Brian Bellows. Yes. Kiefer Bellows' son now going to the Portland Winterhawks. I mean, Ryan Hughes, he played with, and I mean, they had a couple of older guys on Portland that he got to play with, but now he's playing with another NHL first rounder. Cody Glass is absolutely unbelievable for a team like Vancouver. He's from Winnipeg, so he's out west. But, I mean, for a team like Vancouver, they're not getting Nolan Patrick, which I know they're upset about. They didn't get Pierre-Luc Dubois last year, which I know they're upset about. This is a guy who you can actually physically get, Cody Glass, because he's slotted to be a 9th, 7th, 10th pick. Yep. He is one of him and Nick Suzuki and Callan Foote and Connor Timmins are my 4 best players in the draft that are absolute steals. And for a team like Vancouver, I think he fits almost absolutely to Vancouver. Most ready guy, but can play 2 more years in junior and still grow as a player. So absolutely, Cody Glass, boom.
There we go. All right. Here's a question. Would you like to jump in the pool to end the episode?
Well, sure.
All right. He's done this before. We'll see it again. All right. Okay. Wait. Here, move this camera. Okay. Jump over there.
Okay.
You're going to do it with your clothes?
I'm wearing 2 sets of shorts.
Guys, he's about to jump in the pool. Okay. There we go, folks. He is going to jump in the pool. 3, 2, 1. On live camera, go! Alrighty, thank you everybody for watching, and we'll see you next time.